What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our bets for Week 17 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, week 17 is upon us and we have a huge slate of games on Sunday. No Thursday game this week, so it's all Sunday and one final Monday Night Football game. A lot of great games to get to, a lot of lopsided games to get to. I want to get your opinion, starting off with the Jacksonville Jaguars heading on up to Foxborough, taking on the 2 losing streak New England Patriots. Nick, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, the Patriots are coming in at 16-point favorites, even though they are on that 2-game losing streak with a 41.5-point total point. The New England Patriots are looking for some revenge, and when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's the perfect team to do so. They're the worst team in the NFL. We've seen 1 touchdown throw out of Trevor Lawrence's last 280 attempts. He is not efficient. The Patriots defense is dominant, except for this losing streak. And I think this is where they start to rebound. They start to show that they are a dominant force and that they can do it on both sides of the ball. The Patriots get back to doing what they do best. And I'm taking the Patriots at that 16-point spread. I believe that they can cover.
I mean, going from 2 rookie quarterbacks to a rookie quarterback and the GOAT, we see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading on up to New Jersey, taking on the New York Jets. The Jets get to face off against Tom Brady for what seemingly would be one last time in his career, his final time in MetLife as against the Jets at least. And right now, it just seems like the Buccaneers are firing on all cylinders, obviously missing Chris Godwin for the season, no Lenny Fournette, and obviously no Mike Evans. But with the guys that they still have Rob Gronkowski. They still have Antonio Brown. They still have Rojo. And now with Le'Veon Bell in the mix, I think a lot of things are going to start to click for this team. I think that they're going to start to get healthy, really start to get going. And you talked about a get-right game for the Patriots. I think this is one of those for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this is a game where they show us everything that they have in their arsenal. And I believe at the end of the day that the Buccaneers will win by more than 2 touchdowns. I'm going to take them at minus 12.5.
Up next, we have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals come in at 5-point underdogs, even being the home team, with a 51 total point. This is going to be a really good game. We're going to see 2 high-powered offenses really go after each other. And it looks like Vegas is really discrediting the Cincinnati Bengals defense. With DJ Reader and Trey Hendrickson on that defensive line, Chidobe Awuzie looking revitalized as a Cincinnati Bengal, I just don't think there's enough credit being given to the Bengals defense right now and what they can do against Tyreek Hill, who just put up 2 catches last week. Patrick Mahomes starting to figure out other guys, and CEH now dealing with injuries. We're going to see a very pass-heavy offense from the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to see a very pass-heavy offense from the Cincinnati Bengals. I think at the end of the day, when you look at this 5-point spread, I'm taking the Bengals. I believe that they'll be able to cover. I don't think this is going to be more than a 3-point game, and I really believe that the Bengals have a chance at coming out on top at home.
Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. The Los Angeles Rams coming off of a massive victory and overtaking the lead in the NFC West, but if they want to keep that up, they are going to have to go to Baltimore and take down the Ravens. It doesn't look like Lamar Jackson will be able to play in this game, as he's hobbling in practice, let alone what he'll look like in a football game. It might be Tyler Huntley's show yet again, and we know that he's an even better passer than Lamar Jackson is, so it could be a little bit of a challenge for the Los Angeles Rams, but nonetheless, they still have Jalen Ramsey, and they still have that incredible man, Aaron Donald, in the middle of that defensive line. I think that this defense is going to absolutely shut them down. And we saw the Bengals hang 40 spot on this Baltimore Ravens defense just a week ago with how banged up their secondary is, throwing Patrick Queen at cornerback just to throw somebody out there. I think the Rams are going to unleash Odell Beckham Jr. and Cooper Kupp in this matchup, and I believe that the Rams are going to absolutely slaughter the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the Rams at -4.5.
Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills coming in at 14-point favorites with a 44 total point. The Buffalo Bills, they've been surging lately. Big win at Foxborough last week, and they're looking to keep that up. Now they're at home taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and right now they have the division lead. They're looking to solidify that by defeating the Atlanta Falcons at home. It's a big game for them. But with the Atlanta Falcons, you don't know whether they're going to be putting up a ton of points or whether they're just not going to show up at all. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills at their money line just to play a little bit safe.
Next up, we see the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, another team that recently beat the New England Patriots and are currently surging as we see the midseason Hard Knocks darlings really coming to fruition at the right time this season. I think that the Colts are a better overall team. I think that they are clearly in the running for that number 5 seed in the NFL right now, and they want to keep it because they'd be facing off against the Buffalo Bills, who, if you remember, Jonathan Taylor had just a measly 5-touchdown game against those Buffalo Bills, so I think they would easily want to face them. Right now, I think that it seems like Carson Wentz is on pace to play, but that could be derailed if he has another positive test or if he doesn't continue to show signs of improvement. Either way, I think that whether it's Sam Ehlinger or Carson Wentz, they're going to be able to take down this Raiders team. I'm not very confident in the 7 points that Vegas is, but I'll take the Colts at their money line.
Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans come in at 3.5-point favorites with a 39.5-point over-under. 39.5-point over-under for these two offenses that have looked pretty solid. Yeah, Derrick Henry hasn't played for the Titans, but Ryan Tannehill has been getting the job done. And ever since Tua Tagovailoa has come back, the Miami Dolphins offense has been really good. Jalen Waddle there playing lights out, a top wide receiver in the NFL right now. I believe that they'll be able to put up more than 39.5 total points, and I think that's the way to go. I'm going to expect both of these offenses to be playing very hard. Both of these teams need this win, and it's going to be a higher scoring game than Vegas is saying.
Next up, we see the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington football team. The Washington football team have been absolutely shell-shocked in the last few weeks, going up against the Cowboys twice and the Eagles in between them. And it just seems like it's getting harder and harder for this team each and every week. The quarterback position is very inconsistent. They're not getting a ton from their running game. The defense has been playing absolutely poor, and we saw it boil over on the sidelines as Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne got into a little scuffle on the sidelines. Things are getting heated in Washington, and not for any good reasons whatsoever. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are right in the mix to make the playoffs, and they have an opportunity here to capitalize on a really down bad Washington football team. I think the Philadelphia Eagles can take care of business in Washington, and I believe they'll be able to do so at their -3.5-point spread.
Next up, we have the New York Giants taking on the Chicago Bears. The Bears coming in at 5.5-point favorites with a 37-point over-under. This is not going to be a high-scoring game, I agree, but I believe that the Chicago Bears are a much better team than the New York Giants. And funny enough, the New York Giants have the better record in the NFC right now. Both these teams playing absolutely poor, but we just saw Jake Fromm, the third-string quarterback for the New York Giants, get benched last week in the third quarter. And it doesn't matter what quarterback is out there for the New York Giants. We're going to see Robert Quinn and company really get to the quarterback, really put some pressure on the Giants, and we've seen this passing attack be really non-existent. Saquon Barkley is non-existent in this run game. We just don't see much happening for the New York Giants offense. I believe that Chicago Bears can get the job done fairly easily, especially with that 5.5-point spread. I'm taking the Bears at that spread.
Next up, we see the Houston Texans taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are 12-point favorites with an over-under set at 44. 49ers are coming off of a bad loss, and now Trey Lance versus Davis Mills is the matchup that we're going to be getting. I'm not trusting Trey Lance to command this offense the way Vegas does. I do believe the 49ers defense will keep them in this, even though we saw the Texans upset the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the 49ers understand that the Texans have that ability, and they're going in guns blazing, especially on the defensive side of the ball, knowing that they're going to have to make up for the inconsistencies and the things that Trey Lance can't do that Jimmy Garoppolo can. Right now, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers at their money line.
Next up, we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers coming in at 6.5-point favorites with a 45.5-point over-under. The Los Angeles Chargers offense has just not been playing great lately, but it does look like Austin Eckler and Mike Williams will be making their return this week, which is a huge improvement to what will help Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert out. This should help the Los Angeles Chargers, but that Denver Broncos defense is for real. Patrick Surtain is an incredible rookie cornerback, and this defense is really playing strong, which means the Los Angeles Chargers, even though at home, are probably going to struggle against their divisional opponent. And we're going to see Drew Lock take over under center once again. He's going to have the opportunity to play with Courtland Sutton, Noah Fant, and this two-headed running backfield. It's going to be a strong attack for the Denver Broncos. I think they're really going to bring it to the Chargers, but it's going to be close. At the end of the day, I think the Los Angeles Chargers will squeak one out at home. I'm taking them at their money line.
Next up, we see the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Dallas Cowboys in what is our game of the week. The Arizona Cardinals really coming off of some bad losses, now first to the Detroit Lions and then to the Indianapolis Colts last week. So at the end of the day, the Cardinals are just not the same without DeAndre Hopkins. It seems like Kyler Murray really can't figure out this offense if he doesn't have an absolutely star-studded wide receiver. And that's not to take anything away from Christian Kirk. I think he's balling out. I think he's doing everything in his power to get this offense going. It just doesn't seem to be working without that clear-cut number one wide receiver. So at the end of the day, I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense has been absolutely lights out. The defense has really carried this team to where they are so far, with the offense being so inconsistent. Last week, we saw the get-right game that we needed from Dak Prescott, and the defense also balled out. I think this team, as long as they're not feeling themselves a little too much, should be able to handle business against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm taking the Cowboys at -6.
Next up, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are coming in at 7-point favorites with a 42.5-point over-under. I think Vegas is really discrediting what the Detroit Lions can do and how much they've been upsetting teams lately. Yeah, we don't know if Jared Goff's going to be playing or not, but guess what? DeAndre Swift is back, and he's one of the most dangerous running backs in the NFL. And with the Seattle Seahawks, Bobby Wagner is playing incredible, but there is nobody else on this defense that can stop him. If they can avoid Bobby Wagner and get the ball to DeAndre Swift, then I think this is going to be a very winnable game for the Detroit Lions. I think that the Lions have a very strong shot. I'm definitely taking them at their +7 spread.
Next up, we see the Carolina Panthers taking on their division rival New Orleans Saints. Both of these teams have just been in a downward spiral. They have had terrible trajectories all season long, and now it's just a battle of who can kind of get themselves out of this football game. Vegas has this at a 37.5-point over-under, and I think that's generous. Being second to the lowest this week, I'm actually going to take the under in this game. I don't trust any of these offenses. I honestly don't know who's going to throw a ball to who's catching balls. There's really nothing on either of these offenses that tells me they're going to be able to match up against these prolific defenses, and I think it's going to be under 37.5 total points.
Next up on Sunday Night Football, we have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers, and this is a home game for the Green Bay Packers. Last time when these teams played, when Minnesota's at home, I said that these teams always split the series and they always win the home game. Minnesota won that home game and Green Bay is now at home. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers to win at home. Big game for them as they can seal up that number one seed in the NFC, and they want to do so, take some extra rest, possibly take the full 2 weeks off and really prepare for the playoffs. This is a big week for them. They want to do it against their division rival, hopefully keep them out of the playoffs. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers at their -7 spread. I believe that Aaron Rodgers is really going to put the nail in the coffin as MVP on the season.
And finally, for our Monday Night Football matchup, we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers, both of these teams are just atrocious at this point. Baker Mayfield is just broken. Outside of the running backs with Nick Chubb and whoever you offset him with, that this Browns team really doesn't have much to rest their laurels on. The Pittsburgh Steelers, listen, we already know that Big Ben looks like he's going to be retiring. This is his final goodbye. This is his swan song in Pittsburgh. Steelers fans, take it for what it is. It is the final goodbye you have for Big Ben Roethlisberger. I know it's been a struggle the last couple of years with him under center, but you can never forget what this man did for your franchise for all those years. Being drafted in 2004, bringing multiple titles, I believe Ben Roethlisberger deserves one last respectful goodbye from the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I do not see the Steelers as underdogs. I think that this team is going to want to get Big Ben Roethlisberger that final victory in Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers at their money line.
Yeah, this is going to be a really close game, but I believe that Nick Chubb is the stronger running back than Najee, and it's going to come down to the run game. I believe that Nick Chubb knows how to will his team to victory, and we've seen this Pittsburgh Steelers defense get absolutely gashed. We saw it with Dalvin Cook a few weeks ago, and we're going to see it again this week. They do not know how to handle the power run game, which is exactly what Kevin Stefanski loves to run. Nick Chubb's going to take advantage of a team that he knows how to play against very well.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on for both of these teams, and honestly, a lot of these teams, a lot of playoff implications, a lot of things going on this week, but I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of our bets this week. Let us know if you have any questions, or, you know, if you make any bets based on our advice. Let us know how much you win and how we can help you further. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.